Welcome, everyone, to Mother's Narrative Network. We are delighted you could join us. This is where you can find out just how mothers always know best. Before we begin, please like and subscribe for more pearls of wisdom. How to look expensive. How to look like old money. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I was in Sainsbury's today, and the woman in the queue in front of me just looked expensive. She wasn't wearing anything remarkable, a leather jacket with a fur collar, skinny jeans and brown knee-length boots, but somehow she looked done, whereas I looked like a sack of spuds. How to achieve that expensive look without the budget? I think there are a billion threads on this already, but in summary the answer usually is, be thin, be good-looking, have good hair, have good teeth, ditto nails and eyebrows, wear makeup, but not too much, wear good clothes and accessories. Wear clothes that fit properly and are clean. Take care of yourself so you look your best. No smoking, enough sleep and exercise, minimal alcohol, good nutrition. Natural fabrics and best quality you can afford. Buy fewer items, but ones you do make sure are good quality. Clothes that fit and suit your shape. It's down to grooming and posture. Be tall and have good posture as well. Clean clothes that fit. Good hair. Don't smoke. Avoid stress. Look put together. Tailored clothes. Be clean. Clean hair, clean shoes, clean, simple clothes. Simple well-fitting clothes are, sadly, often quite expensive. Natural fabrics, such as wool and cotton and silk, and launder them carefully. Be careful with color and pattern. Often when you see someone who looks really expensive, they have a limited color palette with maybe one bright or patterned item. Asterisk makes note to self, to follow own advice more often wink. And no be itchy resting face, you need serene and smooth, slight smile, just curving the corner of your mouth. Perfectly made up mouth, of course. I'm not sure it's as simple as that. My mum lives on the edge of a very deprived town, in the nice bit. She's from a reasonably wealthy background by birth. The town centre shoppers are largely poor people. If you saw mum in town, you would never mistake her for one of them, despite having no interest at all in her appearance, getting her hair cut approx once a year, never colouring it, and she's never had a manicure in her life. A lot of better turned out women look cheap, by comparison, and I do not know why. I think much of it will depend on what your own preconceptions about what wealth looks like. For me, even though logically I know that a pair of her socks probably cost more than 3 months of my rent, I have never once thought Kim Kardashian looked anything other than cheap. The hair, the makeup, the style, everything. Cheap. I don't think it's her shape. Christina Hendricks is super curvy as well, and doesn't look like trash on the red carpet. For me, a wealthy look is someone who looks fantastic, and like they aren't making an effort. It might be because a lot of the people in the area where I grew up were very old money. Meanwhile, for other people, a wealthy look might be the sort of footballer's wife look. It's all very subjective. I also saw a woman in Sainsbury's yesterday, who looked expensive, whilst I was looking sweaty, and dragging a basket full of cut-price Christmas chocolates, trying to steer DC away from Minecraft stuff. She was slim with smart boots and a gilet, difficult to define, but she looked wealthy. If you want this look, inspect your clothes, coats, handbags, etc., and don't wear any that are starting to look shabby or tatty round the edges. If you get good quality leather handbag, shoes, etc., even if they are not designer, they'll last longer before looking scruffy. My cheap, non-leather handbags often start looking tatty round the edges, piping peeling away slightly, parts of the fabric wearing off, etc., whereas the real leather ones continue looking good. You don't notice these things at a glance, but overall it gives you a less polished look if you don't pay attention to these things. Research high street clothes that expensive people wear, e.g. Kate Middleton. They don't wear designer all the time, and buy clothes from those stores heavily reduced when the sale is on. I am not normally this superficial, but I have had to think about this a lot due to visiting in-laws who run a luxury hotel. I can't go there in clothes that scream Primark and charity shops. 50% of my clothes are from Primark, cheap shops, and charity shops, 25% from middle-range high street stores like Topshop and Dorothy Perkins, and the remaining 25% from expensive high street shops like Hobbs. But I get those in the sale. It's the way you put it all together. Another easy option is to wear all black and accessorize with your best jewelry. Definitely no bling during daylight. Daytime jewelry needs to be understated, even if it's making a statement. And if there is statement jewelry, it's more likely to be a necklace than a bangle, and is pretty unlikely to be earrings. Hair is never scraped back tight from the face, and is never dry or frizzy. It can be weird, distressed, but is fundamentally in good condition. Eyebrows are natural, plucked and shaped a bit, but nothing vanishing or that looks painted on. Daytime makeup is not bright. They do not teeter on heels. They only wear up to the height they can walk in well. Daytime clothes are not shiny, see-through, or excessively revealing. They fit. They are in natural fibers. They are clean and not ripped, scuffed or bobbly. They are not the height of fashion, either. Google Jennifer Aniston Airport. She's always snapped wearing something simple like jeans and plain shirt, with an oversized scarf and sunglasses. She looks polished because someone did her makeup right before she got off. Those jeans probably cost a month's rent and fit her perfectly. She's tanned, her posture is relaxed, and she may well be acting easy breezy for the cameras. I think it's all about less is more. So stick to natural looking makeup, no extremes of hair color, stick to natural hair colors if you color your hair. Dressing appropriately for your figure, whatever shape or size. Clean hair and nails. Don't wear cheap looking clothes. If you prefer to shop in the cheaper, budget clothes shops, choose wisely. Same with shoes, no porn star heels that you can barely walk in. Be comfortable in your outfit and walk tall. Don't walk about with a cigarette in your hand or mouth. At this time of year, a good coat and boots will always help make you look well pulled together no matter what's underneath. Regular haircuts. Subtle makeup. A simple complementary color palette. No patterns. Good posture. Money. Easy. Clean clothes that fit, not skin tight, no cleavage, toes, bum, chest, no visible underwear. No visible words and especially not someone's name. The most noticeable thing about you should be you. If anyone remembers what you are wearing, it's a cheap look. I have a very fat friend, but she dresses very well, and she doesn't teeter about in heels. She's obviously still fat, but just looks good. She wears her clothes, they don't wear her. And yes, no stink stick dangling from lips or fingers. The days when smokers looked classy are long, long gone. I have a good friend who looks very expensive. She also comes across as very attractive, when in reality, she is actually very plain. She is tall, very slim with highlighted hair. She goes to an expensive hairdresser, but her clothes are all H&M and Zara with occasional white company. She has a very neutral palette, and everything is always immaculate. But to be honest, people mostly remember her for her slimness and height. Sainsbury's can actually be a good source of simple clothes that can look expensive if you buy the odd piece. Some tan loafers, a pair of jeans that furs really well, a long pair of brown boots and a quilted jacket, all from there have all attracted comments and assumptions they are expensive. It's what you put them with that makes them look more than they are. My mother always looks groomed, as do I. She's a size 16/18, 5 feet 5 inches and mostly wears bright colored clothing. I am a size 6 and 5 feet 1 inch and most of my clothing is neutral with splashes of color. I don't think it's about height, size or clothes. I think getting the basics right is key. Making sure your hair is in good condition and brushed through, even if it's in a messy bun. Makeup that doesn't make you look like Coco the Clown. It doesn't have to be subtle, but not too much of everything. Well-kept nails. Clothes that fit you well and fit together well, and shoes that aren't scruffy looking. You can wear lots of jewelry, overall the effect is subtle. Very simple pieces, limited color palette, pay more for basics and avoid the white company like the plague, terrible quality, which never looks good after 2 wears. I tried a try for this look on a small budget. I saved money for a house when I was trying to look expensive. Not saying I always got it right. Sometimes I looked a mess, but it's good to have a goal, a look that you're after. But as somebody up thread says, it really depends on what your own perceptions are, and in my area country, spending too much doesn't necessarily take you to the look you're after. You need to look like you have money tucked away somewhere. Should you need it? In a bank. Not stitched into your coat. I would say don't let your BMI go above 23. When you try something on, ask yourself if it flatters you. Your figure, I mean. I go for fabrics that feel heavy or luxurious. Something that is almost plain, but its detail, its twist is lovely. I never bother with nails, but they look okay in their natural state. Because I have a dishwasher, and I send my laundry out. Ha ha. Why did I want to look expensive? That's a whole other thread, and it should be on the psychology's board. P.S. And I would say avoid whatever brands are instantly recognizable. Like at the moment, Michael Kors, their watches, their bags, nice enough, and if you gave me one I'd say thank you and I'd use it. But go for something that isn't recognizable. You can keep using it long after Michael Kors is yesterday's news. Make sure shoes are polished and in good condition. I see so many people who look smart and put together, and then their shoes let them down. Takes a few minutes to polish shoes and replace broken laces, etc., and it really makes a difference. Shoes last so much longer too. Perfect skin and long, thick, swishy hair. Be young, then dress in a preppy style. Simple as that. All of the above plus, I decided some time ago to limit wearing jersey tops. I have tons, some like everyone else, but think cotton, wool, silk tops help lift ordinary jeans to look more dollar. And yes to limiting color palette. The hair has to look natural. No discernible product, or anything like clips. No obvious color in it. No edgy cuts. Plenty of shops have crisp white shirts, a cashmere pullover or 2 in the sales, and good quality jeans and a top-class coat from Jaeger. Work dresses also from Jaeger, but always buy classic clothes in the sale. Avoid supermarket clothes and Next, Primark, etc. Invest in a couple of great scarves, silk if possible, and try and buy clothes which can be swapped around, e.g. greys, black, camel, white, with splashes of color. Choose lovely fabrics, and do not wear clothes that are high fashion that date. Talking of preppy, I do look in Tommy Hilfiger when I pass. Do a quick lap, see if anything begs to come home with me. Their clothes can be a bit coss, look drab on hanger, look good on. Saying that, I only have one thing from that shop. I still look around. Not loyal to anybody really. But there are shops I don't even bother to look in. Where do others shop? With a taste for champagne and ginger beer budget. Well-fitting jeans, cashmere polo in a neutral color, knee boots or loafers. There's something about a very expensive loafer that reeks money in an understated way, not necessarily as expensive as the above. Stud earrings, nice scarf, good coat or jacket, and decent bag. You can do a similar look for less money and still look classy. With it goes well-cut hair, good teeth, discreet jewelry, no false nails or gels, simple makeup, and being quiet. I buy from Jigsaw, M&S, Jaeger, Hobbs, Basler, odd bit from Boden, odd bits from White Stuff, Reese. The trick I think is buying when you see it rather than when you are looking. I swim. I think the best quality, and best fitting jeans on offer are Puna, and I've tried on literally everything from £250 designer ones in Harrods to £30 ones in Next, but the Puna ones happen to fit me perfectly. Straight leg, not skinny, too old and generous of curve for skinny jeans. What some of you think looks expensive sounds like classic Sloane Ranger from the 80s to me. I went into the pure cashmere shop on holiday. I tried a grey V-neck with jeans. The lady in the shop said it looked drab on me and put me in a pale green V-neck with jeans. I looked more expensive, but a little boring according to my DD, who took me to Cath Kidston to buy a tea dress. All assistants young and classically beautiful with no boobs and the dresses hung on them. I am short and curvy, but still looked okay-ish. Maybe I find the expensive look hard, as im hourglass and short. I have brocades with 50s frocks, and they look everyday on me, not pound dollar pound. I own lots of lovely clothes and accessories, but I'm never going to look wealthy as I have too much fat. You can be a bit plump, but you can't be actually 3 stone overweight and look wealthy. Dawn French, Judi Dench, Kathy Burke all look gorgeous, friendly, approachable, nicely groomed. But not wealthy, even though I'm sure they are. What I gather from this thread is also that it's about choosing well. You can't be overweight, untamed hair plus supermarket clothes. You can do one artfully and carefully, but the rest has to be immaculate. Don't underestimate how expensive that leather jacket might have been. There's an utterly gorgeous one in Celtic sheepskin in the sale for about £600. It's exactly as you describe. Looks buttery soft and on the model like a second skin. It does seem unfair that if you are short you don't look expensive. I know that tall people can subconsciously be regarded as superior though. Bah, at 5 feet 2 shall I bother then? If so, can I do a small woman version? Often jumoas are too long and make then look the wrong fit. I tried a sloppy beautiful cashmere jumper in pure, but all to be proportions were wrong. Shall I stick to cropped cashmere cardis and frocks? Uniqlo is your friend. Good value cashmere, and merino if you don't want to stretch to cashmere. Their colored jeans, navy, dark green, burgundy, look good, and they have lots of tailored shirts. Agree with others that hair and makeup are important. You may be right, Mrs. Campbell Black. That was my original style, wink. It's updated though, no more pie crust collars, Alice bands, sleeveless puffers or shoes with bows. I remember wearing my navy puffer over a red jersey, pie crust under, and wearing matching red right scrin. Actually, on reflection, no, I don't think you're right particularly at all. The Sloanes might have aged, but I think their style has moved with the times. It might remain classic, but it isn't class Sloane Ranger. Some very expensive clothes can look very cheap in my opinion. I would say, classic clothes in neutral colors in good fabrics in top condition. Nice perfume. Simple jewelry. Really good footwear. Hair, skin, nails and teeth immaculately maintained. Not necessarily following the latest fashion. Nothing frumpy or mumsy. And an air of je-ne sais quoi. My daughter is only 5 feet 2 inches. She's very petite, but looks effortlessly classy and upmarket in Next jeans and simple sweater, or hoodie with ankle boots or trainers. An Oliver Bono's dress, and she looks fabulous. I think the thick naturally blonde hair and classic features have something to do with it. OTH, I am very biased. I think classics, like a fitted belted long camel coat, are great for this. They also hide a multitude of sins. I think overly done makeup looks cheap, but others probably think it looks classy. Tastes differ. Camel doesn't suit everybody though. Maybe your classic color is maroon, bottle green, navy, or just stick with black. I've never worn anything camel in my life. I've seen some nice camel coats in Max Mara, mind you, but no. Camel isn't for everybody. I agree, the loafers, jeans, studs, silk scarf, expensive coat look described more than once on this thread is more classic than expensive. I saw a woman in London a few days ago with perfectly coiffed blonde hair, huge dangly earrings, high-heeled suede boots with a fringed edge, leather pencil skirt and a long beige fake fur gilet, and she looked amazing, expensive and not slony. I also think people with a bit of money might spend a lot of cash on a black cashmere sweater or a white fitted shirt, whereas people on a budget might spend the same amount of money, but they would want something visibly wow. So a leather jacket or similar. So their expensively dressed person looks inconspicuous, but everything is just luxurious. I feel like this about expensive shoes. I would never spend £500 on a pair of plain black leather Louboutin stilettos, because I would feel it was a bit of a waste on a basic item. If I was to spend £500 on shoes, I would want something remarkable and noticeable. Stealth Wealth Style, How to Look Expensive and Old Money Part 2. I agree undo, but the lady you saw probably loves clothes and has time to think about them and buy them. I disagree that anyone will ever look expensively dressed in a cheap leather coat though. I think items like that have to be exquisite to be carried off. I wouldn't buy the Louboutins either. But my stiletto days are long gone. I'm afraid I think the only way to look expensive is to buy expensive, which is a bummer for most of us. Agree your entire outfit doesn't need to be expensive, but the trouble is that we don't always notice the same things. Some people recommend spending more on bags, but that would be wasted on me 'cause I never look at them. And I always assume jewelry is cheap. I probably notice hair first. I think it's all about a beautiful coat, boots, bag and hair. It doesn't hurt to have a big ring. I think it comes down to good grooming, good shape, good fabrics and no flashy patterns or accessories. TBH, I think it is very hard to look expensive without having good taste to begin with. I know taste is subjective, but I noticed that very wealthy people with tacky taste I know IRL tend to still look tacky rather than expensive, no matter how many thousands pound they are wearing. I always buy my clothes and shoes in Monsoon and John Lewis and in the sales. No way I could afford the full price. I think I look groomed. I don't wear tracky bottoms, always clean looking, I hope, and I'd rather wait and save up for the yearly Christmas sales than go to Primark for my clothes. Sorry if any of you are Primarniers. I agree a lot of posters have described a classic a slony look, but I think that's in part because it's a relatively easy way to achieve if you can afford good quality basics. I don't think classic always looks expensive though. I do think you need a good fit, good quality fabrics and the rest of the grooming, glossy hair, neutral makeup, and subtle accessories to really achieve a polished but expensive look. I suppose I often default to a slightly slony look for casual wear, although I'm about as far from being a Sloane Ranger as it's possible to be. Good quality jeans, boots, cashmere sweaters etc. are easy to wear and fairly forgiving. I also think if you are used to good quality things you pick up something that is relatively inexpensive, but will swish and hang with a bit of panache, because you know the fabric's good and cut on the bias. I've found things like that in surprising places such TK Maxx and occasionally places like Principles. Does Principles still exist? There are plenty of expensive things that aren't well cut and don't hang particularly well. I take the point entirely about the classic as Sloane business and agree there are more fashionable ways to do it, but most of us don't need to be that dressed up all the time, perhaps for the odd trip to the opera or the occasional lunch in the West End. But I'd look daft in my local Sainsbury's dressed in a suede skirt and faux long gilet however waggy my Surrey shop is. In Burlington Arcade as I pop through to King Street to meet a friend for lunch, yep. I'd get more dressed up and feel comfortable to do so, but not every day. Sorry, but Louboutins just scream tacky. The only people I know who still wear them are the young pa in my office, who blow their bonus on a pair and then wear them to death all year. The point at which people started painting the soles of their shoes with red nail varnish was the point the brand died. I've got a couple of pairs which I can't bring myself to throw out. So they are being mothballed until they have a resurgence, but I suspect it will be a long wait. I think anything that fits properly looks expensive. So even if you are slightly overweight, as long as your clothes fit you well, means you will look pulled together. I've found that it's better to buy something in a larger size, and get it tailored to fit you, particularly jeans. I am a fan of silk shirts in a multitude of colors, plain or patterned. Banana Republic do decent plain ones that are worth buying in the sale. These I would wear with dark or white jeans, and always wear a belt with jeans. I believe it finishes the look. A blazer, cashmere V-neck jumper, or coat finish outfit. This is my standard everyday, year-round look. Good posture also makes a person seem more expensive. No slouching and no rushing. You have to amble like you have all the time in the world. Be slim. No tattooed or colored in eyebrows. No fake tan, or even an extreme real tan. Fake nails also a no-no. No fake hair extensions. No heels you can't walk in. No cigarette hanging out of your mouth. Subtle makeup. Nothing floral. No tassels, diamond or sequins. Basically nothing heading towards the extreme. Nice classic colors, clothing that fits well, good quality leather accessories. A good blow dry. Pale but healthy looking skin, if you're Caucasian, if darker. It's all about grooming, ongoing maintenance, and not going over the top in your clothes choices. Pieces should last for years. Don't forget the footwear too, if you're going for this look. Ideally leather rather than synthetic, and clean and polished. This looks expensive to me. Young, attractive, tanned, glossy, thick hair, preppy style, good teeth and white jeans. Great pick. They look gorgeous and happy, but honestly that peach jumper does not scream expensive to me. Liz Hurley wears MN's fave look, Breton top plus skinny jeans, albeit cropped, and manages to look expensive here. And here's Kate Moss looking fabulously expensive, and not a silk scarf in sight. Actually, maybe that pic of Kate Moss is cheating. Evening dress and fur coat, well, that's an expensive look for starters. But here is a more day look, very rock chic, and she looks expensive here, too. Although still not really a look for Tesco. Good underwear. You can wear incredibly expensive clothes, but the wrong bra, even though unseen, will give you a terrible shape, bumps in the wrong places, and awful posture. Find a decent bra, buy it in 3 colors, and you can get away with cheaper clothes. Likewise knickers, ones that give you a VPL, or that are forever disappearing up your backside, will do nothing for your style and comfort levels. You need the right underwear for the right clothes. Knowing when a wonder bra is appropriate is crucial too. Cleavage that looks like it'll take a small child's eye out is definitely not an expensive look on the school run, but might work in the evening. I'm doubtful it will ever work, but I might just be jealous. Good basic pieces is the next step. Never buying anything in a sale just because it's excellent quality, and VVVVV cheap blush. There's a reason that cashmere sweater is reduced to £15, and it's usually because the color doesn't quite work for anyone, or the length is just slightly too short. I have just culled my wardrobe of some lovely clothes bought in sales over the years. They'd make someone else look stylish, expensive, but the colors are just too dark or strongly yellowish for me, and will never make me look my best. I look great in turquoise and navy, but need to be much more careful with teal. I feel a bit of a hypocrite though, as my wardrobe is definitely tatty ATM, and I'm overhauling it as my NY project. I am guilty of too many Gap t-shirts and sweaters since having DC. As PP have said, grooming is also important. Brows make a huge difference. I feel desperately unkempt when my brows need threading or nails need doing. It is easier to wear a wider range of clothes if you're tall, but I don't think tall necessarily equals stylish or expensive. I know a couple of tall women who tend to stoop, so things hang badly and they look less confident. I know one of them has real problems finding well-fitting clothes too. It's a case of knowing what suits you. I have several friends around 5 feet 4 inches to 5 feet 6 inches, who always look expensive. Height isn't crucial. Yes, they are all slim. Personally, I think that wearing head to toe from one expensive shop or designer looks cheap. I don't really know why though. Chucking a e.g. Zara piece into the designer mix seems to liven it all up a bit. We'll watch this thread as I continue to chuck stuff into the charity pile. Expensive bag. Check. Skinny leather jeans. Check. Fabulous show-stopping shoes. Check. This is how I would look to step out to Tesco in my dreams. Love that 10-12 look. UN Ducks. Although I disagree on the 936 Kate Moss pic. I don't think that's an expensive look. Fur and tassely boots don't say expensive to me. This look conforms to the rules mentioned up thread. Simple colors, good coat, good bag. And classic lines, nothing too edgy. I never said expensive underwear. I have plenty of bras from JL and M&S, several bought in sales for less than £5. By good, I meant well-fitting, smooth, etc. No faster way to ruin an expensive outfit than by having rolls of back fat spilling over the top of a bra strap, or having a weird profile, or by permanently hoiking up bra straps, which keep slipping. Actually, as a 30B 32C myself, I find a good bra makes a huge difference to how clothes hang, and yes, it does make cheap clothes look more expensive. I don't suggest a good bra would ever make a trashy top look good, but it can make a huge difference to a cheap high street dress. I have a £50 sleeveless dress from Zara, wrong bra, with straps exposed, bumps from lace showing under the material, and no padding makes the dress look like a dish rag. A decent padded, uplifting, smooth bra with crossover straps made the dress look fantastic, and I received many compliments. Doesn't matter how much it costs as long as it fits well. Kate Moss never looks expensive. Her trademark style is lower middle class with more money than taste. Trucking the couple in that picture don't look expensive at all to me. They look safe and boring. I think there's a fine line between looking expensive and looking 10 years older than you are. It's a look Kate Middleton has perfected, unfortunately, although I realize she is going to have restrictions on her style of dress that most of us don't have. Personally, I always admire people who show some personality through their clothes, rather than those who look like they want to blend in. That said, clean hair, shoes, etc. are always a winner. I work in a private school and lots of the parents look expensive. It's definitely about grooming. No grays in hair, which is well cut and nicely blow dried, not too long or short. Subtle jewelry, very slim figure. Simple clothes, which somehow look well put together, e.g. skinny jeans, often white or grey or black rather than denim colored, ankle boots, silk blouse or shirt, a lace top, cashmere sweater, good bag. Kate Middleton is an interesting example, because in evening wear she looks amazing, but in formal day, where she always looks 20 years older than her age, and not very nice with it. In informal day wear, she does not manage to look chic, or expensive, since this thread is about looking expensive. Maybe she does not want to look expensive though, just innocuous and serviceable. Kate Moss, although she wears expensive designer clothes, sometimes looks like her clothes needs good washing. I also think people with a bit of money might spend a lot of cash on a black cashmere sweater, or a white fitted shirt, whereas people on a budget might spend the same amount of money, but they would want something visibly wow. Undo, to me that is the right formula. Spend on basics, not showy items like bags or high-heel glittery laubs. If I had a budget of £500, I wouldn't blow it all on a Mulberry or Vuitton. While my clothes are cheap looking, a bag or expensive laubs won't change the state of clothes or make them look better. I'd get a good cashmere or lambswool sweater, good everyday shoes, or well-made jacket. Buying the best for everyday wear is more important. A few weeks ago in Paris, an Asian tourist really caught my eye. She looked incredibly stylish. She didn't scream flashy designer. She had a trench on, but not Burberry, fits her so well. Simple Todd's penny loafers, a Longchamps pliage, bag in beautiful dark green, and plain scarf, that upon close examination turned out to be an Hermes. I might have stalked her around the store to get a better look of her scarf, blush, whether she was wearing designer pieces, or lesser expensive brands, didn't make a difference. The overall result looked very well balanced, everything looked well made, and though she looked too classic for my taste, I noticed how good she looked. She made that simple nylon bag look so beautiful. I follow Alessandra Steinhair on Instagram, and always think she looks very polished and expensive. Okay, so she works in the beauty industry, Glamour magazine. So she has access to nice clothes and makeup, but she wears it well. I always notice her nice hair and brows. I think attitude has a lot to do with it. I have two friends who follow a lot of the rules mentioned here, always well-groomed, clean, classic style, etc. One of them has heaps of money, and one of them wants people to think she has heaps of money. There is a really subtle difference between the two, but because I've known them over a decade, I do notice the difference, and it's in their attitudes. The friend who is worth a few million has an air of confidence about her. The second friend will happily tell you all about her new, expensive car, but the first friend is driving round in a Jag that's about 20 years old. Spend more initially on something that will last and it saves money. Same theory as buying clothes up thread. She's not tall and doesn't have the long glossy hairstyle, but she has a presence about her and doesn't suffer fools gladly. She'll never be rude to a waiter or shop assistant, but neither is she trying to be their friend. Oh, and tan leather always seems to look expensive to me, but never Michael Kors. Fresh caramel highlights, a simple grey cashmere jumper with black skinnies, black Chelsea ankle boots and a plied shopper will always look more expensive than brown home-dyed hair. A bright jumper, blue skinnies, and skyscraper high platform ankle boots. Princess Madeleine of Sweden has perfected this look, to me. Thank you for what 3. I don't know if I look expensive or not, to be honest. I suspect I do, because I have quite nice, subtle things. I am perfectly happy to pay £150 for a pair of shoes, but not often much more. I have a classic Burberry trench coat in my wardrobe from 1984, and don't wear it, because it looks dated. The cut is dated and I don't really know how, possibly the mud calf length that was perfect back then, but knit now. I am of course quite old by Mumsnet standards. 55. I am also not thin, a size 14, but tall and on the border of my BMI. I would love to be thinner. But hair? I have a very good, retired from the West End hairdresser. I go every 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks, I have a T-bar color in 2 shades of dark blonde, a warm tone, no idea what they are. I'm lucky because not too much grey. After 2 T-bars, I have a half head of highlights. Cut and blow dry every 6 weeks. Slightly layered so it flicks out rather than under, not quite shoulder length. I spend about £120 PCM on my hair overall. At him a 5-minute blow dry and 5 minutes with the curling brush. Clothes aren't my highest priority. The hierarchy is DH and the DC, home, education, holidays, cars. I work full-time in a relaxed environment and spend a lot of time trying to blend in and not look too well-heeled. My bosses don't need to know. I agree with you on Esprit lovely simple clothes. With so many UK brands, you have to wade through piles of over-fussy stuff that you're going to get tired of so quickly. From people watching, a lot, I think that something that really marks well-dressed people out is that their outfits are cohesive. Not matchy-matchy, but if they are wearing a smart get-up, they'll also have a smart coat on, not a anorak. And if they are wearing a fleece and jeans, they'll be wearing a sporty bag and shoes rather than a leather handbag and boots. And they might not have a massive wardrobe of bags and shoes, but they wear ones that work together. It's about being thoughtful and disciplined about what you buy and making sure it all works together. Late to the thread, but I've been thinking about this and need to make a Marmite sort of post here. It will mention House of Color. I agree with what's been said: regrooming, taking care of clothes, spending money, often, being slim and tallish, etc. But I also believe that it's only possible to actually achieve the specific look that a lot of people on this thread seem to be referring to, if you have a specific style personality. By style personality, I mean the categories discussed here, not a hawk link grin. Not everyone looks right, or their best in blazers, loafers, silk scarves, smart jeans, wool coats, riding boots, or whatever item you want to ascribe to their expensive-looking woman. As has been said, these items usually belong to a very classic look, something which I believe you need to have a classic style personality to carry off. I'll use my DSIS as an example. She has been diagnosed as an ingenue natural by Hawk, basically relaxed and feminine. If she tried to dress like a preppy Ralph Lauren model, she would look ridiculous. And she's a curly girl, so couldn't do the sleek highlighted hair either. To look her most expensive, she would need to wear items according to her style personality, because by definition those items would make her look most like her. TLDR, most people seem to have a specific look in their mind which they associate with looking expensive, and I think that people who don't suit this look can never look as expensive in that way. The exception would be the woman mentioned above wearing the suede skirt and fur gilet. I would assume that because 1, these items suit her style personality, so she can pull them off, and 2, these items are currently in fashion, and 3, these items may be made of very expensive materials. She can still look expensive without looking classic. I've pondered this too. I was lucky to have a private education for part of my school time. Some of my friends were daughters of multi-millionaires, some were aristocratic. I think the look you are describing is the aristocratic one. I think what the basis of the look is something to do with being self-assured. Saying that though, the aristocratic, old money, ones all bought the very, very best natural fabrics, and made them last. New things were seen as very non-new, worn in but smart was better. Absolutely no bling in the day. Plain metal chains, earrings or pearls normal size, not the big obviously fake ones. They also had a ready-for-any-eventuality way of dressing. Whether wandering round some fields or going to a posh restaurant for lunch, they would have fitted in. And you have to be slim, not thin but slim. And it must always look like you are not really trying to give off the wealthy air. I failed to get anywhere near their poise. Luckily, they were a lovely lot and accepted me for the slovenly tramp I am. It reminds me of times walking round Harrods, the Selfridges, the Liberty, etc., and there are women wailing round who obviously have lots of money, but are wearing absolutely hideous clothes. I think you can look expensive without looking preppy. Sofia Coppola looks expensive, but not in a preppy way. A person wearing ingenue-style clothes in good fabrics, with good quality leather shoes, will look still expensive even if they are not wearing preppy or sloany clothes. And conversely, I think the pic above with the peach jumper and the big fake pearls looks preppy, but not expensive. Whether wandering round some fields or going to a posh restaurant for lunch, they would have fitted in. Could you describe the type of outfit or shoes this would involve? To me, a field involves wellies at least, and a posh restaurant definitely doesn't. Well, rude elf, didn't you know one's hunters are necessary for a nice lunch at Claridge's? Okay, maybe a change of footwear for the different places, but the style wouldn't have changed. I think it's all about a beautiful coat, boots, bag and hair. I agree. When you leave the house, those are the things that people notice. So why not make sure those outer garments are good quality, because they are the first things people see. Instead of wasting money buying cheap stuff to wear underneath. I think there are lots of ways to look expensive, but personally I am a huge fan of color and originality. I am far from claiming to be an expert, but my go-to style at the moment is a shirt dress, really flattering on most body shapes. I'm 5 feet 4 inches, and a curvyish size 10, and they look really flattering if pulled in at the waist, with tights and boots. One of my friends wore a fabulous warehouse shirt dress the other day, which looked much more expensive than it was. I tend to go for quite colorful dresses and scarves, with classic shoes, mainly Russell, and Bromley sale purchases for day wear. But I think you can get great-looking shoes from Clarks and Jones too. I'm also a fan of DVF wrap dresses. If you can spare £80 to £100, then you can pick one up on eBay for special occasions. They are great for curvier figures, though you do need well-fitting underwear. Personally, I think the Sloane skinny jeans and sweater look on its own is a bit bland. I am also not sure it looks great on anyone who isn't slim with small breasts, not me. I think that people who really have money to spend on clothes, with a personality to go with it, will tend to seek out more original, look-at-me outfits, or accessories. There are some brilliant scarves that really make an outfit for an investment piece, e.g. lilliandlyon.com/scarves.html. Ultimately, I think my attitude is that I would rather look interesting and individual. I love clothes, but I am not very interested in conforming to a look that supposedly makes me look thinner or more attractive to men. However, I think that attitude is actually what makes people look more expensive and stylish. It may not be to everybody's taste, but if you have nothing to prove, then you can enjoy dressing for yourself and as an expression of your personality. The key is really enjoying clothes and not worrying too much about what other people think. I think that is especially important if you are curvier. There are so many gorgeous clothes out there that it is just a bit sad when people feel they have to wear a certain uniform to try to look slim. Oh, and another thumbs up for Alex Monroe. I get so many compliments on the necklace I have. I think his designs are beautifully understated and interesting at the same time. Don't attempt to color your hair at home. You can always tell when it's a cheap DIY job out of a box from Boots. The finished result usually lacks the different tones, warmth and richness, which you get from going to a salon and getting it done properly. The color always ends up looking cheap and flat despite what you may think. People have mentioned Kate Middleton's style a few times. She tends to dress a bit safe, but to me she always looks stylish and classy. Liz Hurley has that same effortless look, and yet Princess Eugenie and Beatrice, similar backgrounds, similar money at their disposal, always seem to end up looking like sacks of potatoes, no matter how hard they try. Maybe style and taste is something you're either born with or not. There are sometimes exceptions, but on the whole, being slim makes it easier to look good in clothes. I see women in Waitrose in the morning in their workout gear, and they look expensive. They may be covered in mud from their boot camp class, but it matters not, they still look like money. Other old ladies wearing too much makeup and overdone hair look expensive. Is it an attitude, a stride, the way you hold yourself? I don't know, but it can't be reduced to grooming and being mud-free. This is the photo. I only added it for the skirt. I don't think the whole outfit is great on her, but definitely don't think she looks awful. I always say it on these threads, Massimo Dutti. Lots of silk, cotton and cashmere, little pattern and a limited color palette. This is what I think looks expensive, the classic. Nothing here IMO would date. One and one, I buy nearly all my clothes online. The great thing about shirt dresses is that they nearly always fit, because you just pull them in at the waist, so they are a really easy online purchase. I think they look great with ankle boots for the daytime, but can be jazzed up with heels for the evening. I have a couple of DVF ones bought on sale on Thoutnet, which I have worn to death. ASOS has a few nice ones at the moment too. I think we also have to consider that looking expensive is not desirable for everyone. I'd personally like to look friendly, approachable, able to joke, clean, tidy, interesting, practical, attractive, not all at once. I strongly suspect that there's extra connotations like aloof, fastidious, unapproachable, snooty, unable to have fun, I don't want my clothes messed up that I don't want to exude. I'm not saying they're definite side effects of expensive, just that I don't want to put clients, the children off that I work with. I don't want a barrier between me and the rest of the world. There is something about expensive that also gives off a don't fuck with me vibe. I want to look assertive, without putting distance between me and others anyway, rambling. Everything dates, some things more quickly than others, some clothes are basics, but too many classic basics can just look frumpy and dull, slim, blonde, tall, white teeth now that it's expensive. Wearing a cheap watch can instantly cheapen your look. It doesn't have to be very expensive, but you don't want to be wearing a really cheapy one, i.e. from next to M and S the new look etc. People forget about things like watches and other jewelry when they're putting together an outfit. I also think that some types of statement jewelry look cheap and nasty. If you must wear statement jewelry, make sure it's good quality, or failing that, fine jewelry, even if a bit old-fashioned, is better than the wrong thing. It's all in the detail. Designer bags look fake if you are not dressed to the same standard. IMO, you can't up your game. With a handbag there are so many fakes. I think unless you are incredibly wealthy, designer handbags look naff. Is it possible to look expensive without any jewelry at all? I don't have any. Not even costume jewelry. I don't have my ears pierced. I don't have a watch. I wear none. I find it a nuisance at work tbh, and haven't worn anything in years. I know I can't afford to invest in anything that would look even half decent, but not flashy. So is it possible to get the look without jewelry? The last few posts have made me recall a lady in Sainsbury's at the end of summer. She was probably late 20s. Beautiful silk navy and beige striped shirt dress, light tan, fabulous flat and elegant leather sandals, lovely bag, gorgeous hair and utterly beautiful. And then I noticed the tattoo up the side of her leg. And then she spoke. Everything she wore at that point might as well have come from the market in Albert Square. She might have been a lovely person and the sum total might have been £10,000, but at the moment she became cheap. Rude elf, you definitely don't need jewelry. If you won't be comfortable in it, it will probably just detract from the outfit. I think that it can look very youthful not to wear jewelry. It's that sort of polished French understated style. A discreet necklace might work for you occasionally though. By the way, given that the original question was how to look good on a budget, and assuming that the general consensus of be slim and tall may not be realistic for everyone, another point that has been made and that I agree with is that shoes are really important. Personally, I think that heel height really matters. I think that women tottering around on too high heels generally looks a bit cheap and try hard, which is why I think Kim Kardashian rarely looks expensive. Perhaps it's part of the confidence thing. Shoes that are the right heel height for you will give you good posture, a feeling of confidence, and perhaps make you look a bit taller and slimmer if that matters to you. I love 2.5-inch heels personally, but I think that everyone has a different comfort zone. Nice shoes definitely don't need to be expensive, and I think they can really make a simple outfit. How to look rich Part 4. I don't know about the jewelry. I do always clock it tbh. I wear a gold watch with a black leather strap, a wedding, eternity, and engagement ring. At the moment I am wearing a black drop pearl on a silver chain. I don't wear gold as I'm a summer. That lot's worth about £9,000. Not meant as a braggy comment. But I'm also wearing a pair of earrings, the circle of tiny diamonds with a hole in the middle, like a polo but tiny. I have received so many compliments about them, and once, when one had dropped out, someone made a huge gaspy fuss. They were £17.99 from Oliver Bono's. Whether anyone would have made a fuss if I didn't have some decent stuff I don't know. But tomorrow in my black Payuna jeans, anorak and Romika lace-ups, because they accommodate my orthotics, I'm not sure anyone will notice grin. I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm not keen on reality TV stars, but Olivia Palermo has it down, every time. She has great J.Crew style. Love it. Interestingly, I think Victoria Beckham, who always looks well put together, never looks expensively dressed. She always looks like she is wearing a pencil skirt and a £10,000 handbag. The richest woman I know wears Echo sandals with socks, possibly with a hole, ancient flowered skirts, and a bobbly fleece, and drives a T-Reg Golf with dents. You bump into her and think XX, the state of you, and then you see a simply marvelous diamond twinkling somewhere and realize she's probably standing more money than anyone in a 5-mile radius, and just doesn't care. She scrubs up well when necessary though. VB, now that's a baffling case. People still can't shake off her former fashion choices. She did some horrendous fashion crimes for many years, and then all of a sudden, poof, all that is gone, and is replaced with very understated and streamlined clothes. It's like she had a fashion personality transplant. Perceptions differ. To me and others I know Amal Clooney and Victoria Beckham are firmly in the try too hard category, and definitely not ones to inspire effortless chic, aka expensive. I do actually agree with the comment upthread about everything coordinating in the sense that the whole outfit must create a certain look. I have a friend, thin but not tall, if that's of interest, who always looks beautifully put together and expensive. She has nice jewelry and always has her hair and makeup done, but a lot of her clothes are cheap, H&M, supermarket stuff, Zara. The thing is she looks right, because if she's wearing jeans and a blazer, her staple look is skinny jeans, ballet pumps, plain jersey top, either scarf or necklace and sunglasses, everything is working towards that look. She also looks stylish and expensive in gym gear, because she'll wear gym pants, a gym jacket, sports tight bag etc. unlike me, who puts on a gym outfit then a big puffer coat over the top, because I haven't got a nice gym jacket blush. For evening, she will have a suitable coat, jacket, and clutch bag. She won't wear a dress then put her warm work coat over the top like I would. I don't look expensive or stylish. Sad. I think being tubby does make it harder, because it's harder to get clothes that fit well when you're bigger, and the need for clothes to be cut well and fit right is greater when your body isn't perfect. It also limits your choices of styles. I would love to wear skinny jeans and flats with a 3/4 sleeve sweater, but I know I look big dressed like that, so it's not really an option. My fashion look of choice would be preppy, but I'm too big to really work that style. I've kept quiet about this whole being slim to look expensive thing up until now, primarily because I forgot which email address I'd registered with so couldn't log in. But it's getting on my nerves so much I've re-registered to comment. You do not have to be pencil slim to look expensive. I've always been told that I look expensive right from being about 17 or 18, and still am pretty regularly now at 43. During that time I've been everything from a size 10 to a 20, so not always slim, but what I do have is an eye for expensive looking clothes, even if they are not. Height and a bone structure that is huge but statuesque, so no matter what my size things hang well. I'm also blessed with norks that never venture above a C cup, which help immeasurably in the larger phases. I admit it does help, but being slim is not essential to looking well turned out. I'm slimish, but not slender, quite solid hourglass and short legs. Same with features. I don't really have the whole blonde thing going on. I actually hated dressing as a young woman, as the whole youthful boho mismatched everything from Topshop thrown together style made me look really weird, and classic styles really do suit me better. I go for the Diana quick look, pretty much similar coloring of build, and I love it. Ready. I completely agree with you about heel height. I don't think towering heels look comfy, and anything that looks uncomfortable doesn't look expensive, so tottering heels showing sore looking feet, summer shoes in winter and skimpy clothes when it's cold. There does seem to be a lack of heels around which aren't 4 inches tall, which still look nice and non-frumpy. They're getting harder to find. 4 inches is getting to be the standard now. And flats often look so much better. I much prefer flats or boots with jeans and trousers to heels. They do seem to make the wearer look like they've got more confidence. Jackie O, Grace Kelly, Audrey Hepburn. All had that special something that made them look effortlessly stylish and expensive. Wonder what it was about them. Googled Sloane Ranger, in images, the female members of the royal family. And other people who look like they belong to the horsey set, fairly ridiculous, as they are defined as fashionable young people mostly living in London. Googling has confused me even further, smiley face. Really enjoyed this thread and agree with most of it that certain things, such as an air of confidence, a hood hair etc. help. 2 examples spring to mind. The first was a woman and her husband and daughter in the shops. They clearly spent a lot of money, clothes looked very expensive, yet it didn't look at all chic, which is what I think we are also referring to on this thread with the likes of Olivia Palmero. The main issues were that the woman, very tall as slim and groomed, was on really tall heels, which gave her a silly totter. She also had clearly had a fair bit of work, despite only being I'd guess in her 30s. Huge lips and Botox made her look very cheap. The other thing is that they were just at the shops. There is an element of trying too hard, being overdressed that cheapens a look. In contrast, just before Christmas there was a woman in the theater who looked amazing and chic and wealthy. I'd say she was early 60s. She was probably size 16/18, but wonderful figure, and because not mega slim, had amazing skin. Her hair was grey and cut, just below the ear, but looked full, soft, and despite the fact it was blowing a gale outside, not a hair was out of place. Can't remember exact clothes details, which I guess is impression. I would want to remember person not the clothes. But she had really tactile sort of clothes. Trousers were velour, or something, and blouse was silk patterned all in gorgeous jewel tones that really complemented her. Personally, I like a timeless, classic look, but rarely wear it myself as I prefer to have something a bit more funky, a playful thrown in the mix. Plus with kids on tow, I very rarely exude an air of calm. Plus I rarely get out, minus kids, so when I get to local pub, etc., I'm guilty of overdressing as it's my only chance. As others have said, those I do know who have pound, I would never guess by looking at their clothes. I think it is perhaps a lower middle class thing to want to look more expensive. I don't mean this in a snotty way. I'm from a very much working class background myself. P.S. Have really enjoyed this thread. This thread immediately makes me think of a friend of mine. She's tall, very slim, great bone structure, great hair, eyebrows and nails always done, and she wears lots of beautifully cut muted tones. Have never seen her wear anything bright at all. Even when she's out for a run and waves as she passes my house, she still manages to look done and expensive. They are totally minted though. LOL at dressing for school events. I usually wear smartish jeans for a parents' evening with something like Converse and a long sleeve t-shirt. I'm nearly always one of the smartest and most dressed up there. Tracky bottoms are much more the norm. Guess it depends on the school. Agree completely about slim equals expensive, or at least if someone is larger then good bone structure is the key. I will never look anything but okay even at my slimmest, which is not at the moment. Sad face another one heading for Slimming World next week. Because I have a very soft silhouette with no discernible cheekbones of any kind. To me that translates as looking cute, fun or pleasant at best, but sadly never expensive or stylish. Posture matters a great deal. My exercise teacher is 67 and generally not well to D0, but wears very ordinary clothes, with a few outrageously expensive presents, incredibly well. She's not skinny, but she stands elegantly, and moves fluently whatever she is doing. She stands out like a thoroughbred among cart horses, and most of the cart horses probably spend 3 times what she does on clothes and grooming. One reason that Pilates is so popular with expensive people is that it puts such emphasis on posture. However, it is impossible, so I have been told, to teach in groups of more than 8, or to learn from a DVD, and that alone makes classes quite expensive. I was thinking about this thread when talking about books earlier. Stay with me. There is a point in this, and I remembered a bit in an Agatha Christie book, The Body in the Library. She's talking about the difference between upper-class gals and the lower types. She talks about why the murder victim has changed her dress, supposedly to meet a man, and not changed into her best dress, or into something appropriate for the occasion, like a tweed skirt and jumper. She was going for a car ride at night. Miss Marple goes back to talk about a picnic for her whole village and the lower classes, although that's not how she words it, all put on their best clothes, not the most appropriate ones for a social occasion. It struck me on this thread about the comment about people without a lot of money suddenly having a big chunk to spend and thinking they wanted something showy they'd get lots of attention for, and Victoria Beckham often looking overdressed. The truly posh wear what's right for that occasion, not always dressed up. So value good quality basics as well as good quality going out clothes, because you won't always just get dressed up, but wear what's right for the occasion. Bit like some designer bags with casual or cheap clothes. If they are formal or work bags, it's not just that they look fake with the cheaper clothes, they look like the wrong choice of bag. A structured black Prada Galleria bag with casual jeans and jumper will look a bit wrong, and a Chloe Marcy with a suit can look a bit out of place, as it's a more casual bag, more suited to a casual outfit. The truly rich and posh will have several expensive and good quality bags, note, not automatically designer, and can use the right one for an outfit. Philoslothy, yep, me too. I realized that was where I was going wrong. It is worth spending money on a casual clothes as I'd look better in good quality basics for a relaxed lunch than overdressing, because my casual stuff is all a bit crap. Also, knowing what the right clothes are for the occasion, not really feeling comfortable that you'll get it right, and so overcompensating with a fancier dress than is necessary to avoid being underdressed is a clear marker of my riff-raff, but trying status. I am still baffled. A lot of the pictures, links etc. pretty much describe my style, how I dress, but as Mrs. Seaby said, I don't think I would want to be regarded as looking expensive. Grin, I try and look stylish and dress with care whether I am just staying in, or just popping to the supermarket. I do think it's a mindset thing. Two things I have disagreed with a lot on this thread, is that you can only achieve style, can't use the word expensive, by looking tall and slim, and also there is just one look, the classic look. I am slim, but petite, okay, a short RC, and it means that I dress for my frame. Equally earlier someone said Dawn French doesn't look expensive. Again, not sure what expensive is, but in many of the pictures I see, she looks bloody stylish, especially when she has that stunning blunt haircut. Again, she dresses for her frame. Also, there are many ways to be stylish, and yes, the classic look is the easiest, but it's certainly not the only way. It suits my personality, no, doesn't mean I am full, so I carry it off with confidence, but it certainly isn't for everyone. Dinosaurs, you are so spot on about bags. Especially the two examples you used. I have a Chloe Marcy, bought it for work and realized after a fashion fail that it is more a white shirt, tan jacket, jeans kind of bag than a use with a suit or dress, because it's too heavy looking. Blingy, yep, it's not a work bag, it's a weekend bag, and then having the right one can make your whole outfit look more expensive and put together. But having an expensive bag with the wrong style of clothes can make the overall look cheaper and wrong. There are a few crossover bags that are smart enough to look good with office wear, and unstructured enough to look good with casual clothes, but they are few and far between. Oh yes, Deb, ironing. I hate ironing, but have concluded cheap clothes always look more expensive if ironed, even if you can get away with not ironing them. I think I'll settle for looking cheap and crumpled. You don't need to be tall. I've noticed very petite Asian women who look very expensive. Tiny, light and clean cut clothes. Tall and slim, yes, that too. But mostly it's a style factor. Actually, I just saw a pin with navy pants, slightly lighter navy cashmere jumper, and a skinny belt. All the same palette. Skinny belts help. I love this thread. I buy a lot of eBay, choose a designer or a picture, and look for a match. Bit time consuming, but I cannot stand spending too much on clothes, but want to look expensive. I always think there is always someone who has what I want in their wardrobe. LOL. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Before you go, please like, comment, and subscribe for more daily uploads. How to Look Rich Part 5. I don't think we can really compare Victoria Beckham to regular people, even posh regular people. She's an entertainer, model, fashion designer and celebrity. If she even does pop into a Tesco, the normal rules don't apply for her. She lives in her own world. I do find the word expensive sort of funny. It works for what we're discussing, but the idea of someone saying you look expensive puzzles me. Does it mean you look the opposite of a cheap date? You look high maintenance? You look like a lot of money has been spent on the things smeared and draped over your body. I do think there are different ways to interpret it. The OP could have said, I want to look rich, but that may have pushed us into entirely different directions, old money vs new money, etc., with people talking about the really, really rich people they know who go about covered in manure and animal hair. I do think most of us are talking about the same things, though. The sort of people who just look really good, as if they have wealthy, easy lives. The ones with the slim legs and glossy hair and high-quality, well-fitting clothes. It's decades out of date, now, but it is still worth reading, although American Dress for Success for Women. The guy who wrote it was an image consultant, who did a great deal of research into how people should dress for their careers. And I mean proper research. Showing panels of people, photos of women in various outfits, and saying, who is the boss? Who is the secretary? Who would you hire? He learned a lot about how people perceive intelligence, authority, trustworthiness based on clothes and grooming. He discusses the pitfalls of such things as casual Fridays, undermines women executives' authority, how to command respect in various fields and regions, how to dress for the job you want to be promoted to, even how to attract a rich mate. It's absolutely fascinating. I remember his discussing taking ambitious women from humble backgrounds and schooling them in class and quality. He'd literally send them to the most expensive stores to touch and try on clothes until they could see the difference. Then, with that knowledge under their belts, they could seek out versions they could afford, with careful attention to fit and color. It's from the late 80s, I think, but the main principles still apply. I do. I just looked it up. John T. Malloy. The last edition of Dress for Success for Women was published in 1996, I think. It's out of print, but available used on Amazon. Like I said, the specifics are out of date and for American culture, but he does make some very interesting points about how people perceive us based on our dress, and particularly regarding how women convey or undermine professional authority with their clothes. Speaking of the difference between American and UK cultural perceptions of dress, I think American women tend to go for a much more groomed look. This was startling to me when I moved here, and it's particularly noticeable in newsreaders. American female newsreaders have perfectly coiffed, helmet hair, and conservative, but slightly sexy, clothes in bright monochromes. I've sometimes joked that a newsreader in the UK looks like she got drunk last night trying on clothes at H&M, and then woke up in what she was wearing and crawled into work without combing her hair. I've gotten used to it by now, but it was strange at first. I think clothes are a very small part of it. Looking expensive is about looking fit and healthy with a reasonable level of grooming. Being thin doesn't look particularly classy if you are 26 a day thin, with thick makeup to disguise your grey skin. My student daughters look much more expensive than many of their friends, because they exercise and eat properly. They have shiny hair and great teeth. They may have Primark or charity shop clothes rather than designer labels, but they have a definite glow. I've sometimes seen tall, well-built, I guess you could say statuesque, women who have that expensive look, so I don't think it's to do with being slim. It's really intangible, but could be that they are wearing at least one good item, but it's more to do with a total look, as if they are well put together, and have thought about their appearance from top to toe. Also, even if quite large, their clothes fit well. I get what you're saying about class. I'm from a very working class background and people were very conscious about clothes. There was always Sunday best no matter how poor you were. Some of these clothes, especially coats, were beautiful quality and expensively cut. I think I kind of carry that idea through. I'm never scruffy and perhaps come across as too try-hard. I think clothes can be a way of altering how people perceive you. I had a colleague once who said he could always tell when Welsh people were visiting the town, as they were always better dressed than the locals, and probably be in their Sunday best. I think it varies from person to person along with individual perception, and your face doesn't have to be attractive either. In the early 2000s I was what is preppy, I guess. Was in my early 20s and a slim, but very pronounced hourglass, who thought she was fat, and is now a size 18 hourglass FFS. That'll teach me. I have a face like the back end of a bus, an overbite, but masses of curly hair. I would wear jeans and a rounded V-neck jumper, or blousey top tucked in, or a loose wrap cardi, had a gorgeous purple crochet Topshop one, with cane underneath, suede or velour-fitted blazer worn open, heels, pedal pushers in summer, fitted or tie-back short-sleeved shirt or blouse with it or mock wrap waist striped tops, align cord skirts with cashmere-type V-neck jumpers etc. I walked tall due to a combination of heels and Pilates. Friends always thought I looked expensive and high maintenance, but it took me seconds to get dressed and I'd just chuck things on, leave my hair natural and spend 5 minutes on my awful face blush. They always thought my clothes cost a fortune, and I was often asked if they were designer, but they were always cheap high street, aside from evening dresses. On the other side, I often got called Barbie, and had some people assuming I was a bimbo. So I think individual perception of others is a big thing. What one sees as looking expensive another sees as cheap, weird or tacky, or even trashy. I often see things people say are expensive, or classy looking and I think it looks like cheap market tat that only a wench would wear. On the other side, I think how you carry yourself makes a difference. If you walk tall then you do look better. If you slouch, like I do now, don't dress for your figure, or wear things the wrong size, you look worse and less put together. I look a total mess now, which probably suits my face more. And find that the harder I try to look better, or look more relaxed, something I always wanted, the more idiotic I look. Shorty here who has always had people comment positively on their clothing choices, and has given the impressions that A, I have a gigantic wardrobe, I don't, and B, spends a fortune on my clothes, I don't. Yes, I am slim, size 4 to 6, with good hair and skin despite being only 5 feet 2 inches, but I think that the key is that I know A, how to dress for my size, B, always make sure that all my clothes fit well, and C, no matter how inexpensive the item of clothing, I make sure it is made out of quality fabrics. Even when it comes to basic t-shirts, I make certain that they are made of Pima cotton or similar and in plain colors. Certain things I won't skimp on: handbags, shoes, coats, and certain accessories, scarves. These I buy the absolute best possible. One of my most complimented on outfits was from when I was 6 months pregnant with my first child, a pull-on simple white broderie anglaise midi skirt from M&S, a white V-neck t-shirt, no-name brand, beige wedge espadrilles. On sale, an ice blue mini Longchamp nylon tote, and a white and ice blue silk scarf thrown around my neck, a Hermes. Although I was pregnant and the total cost of the clothing, excluding accessories, was about £50, it still looked expensive, because it was all good quality and fit a look. I have a certain style and I buy clothing which suits it. This means that I have clothes which I still wear from over 10 years ago, which have not dated, because of their quality, and the fact that it fits my style. This tends to be a classic, tailored look, but made not boring by accessorizing. A blogger with great accessible style is my Thai. Her clothing choices are very simple, but she probably had 100 ways with scarves. She definitely is in the classic style categories, but it is interesting to see how she takes a couple simple items of clothing and creates multiple outfits from them. My personal opinion is that women who don't look expensive have tatty hair that needs cutting, coloring or both. You can wear what you want, but if your hair is a mess, you look a mess. I don't mean it necessarily needs combing. Windswept can look glam, and so can hair pulled in a high ponytail, or a comb grip, but hair that is dry, needs roots retouching, or is just shapeless is a no-no. Ditto, IMO, no makeup. I know this is contentious on MN, but hey, it is S&B. IMO, only, very few women over 35ish look okay without any makeup. A bit of light foundation, blusher, mascara and lippy can make tatty look groomed. Scuffed shoes or boots are a no-no, i.e. where the leather is so worn you can see the white or grey underneath. Tatty nails, i.e. dark colors that are chipped. Wearing the wrong clothes for the occasion. A personal hate of mine is older women who wear a fleece or Gore-Tex type jacket and trainers for everything, i.e. supermarket, trips to shops, etc., when they are really for country walks, or when it's pissing it down. Wearing the wrong clothes for the occasion. A personal hate of mine is older women who wear a fleece or Gore-Tex type jacket and trainers for everything, i.e. supermarket, trips to shops, etc., when they are really for country walks, or when it's pissing it down. And the woman I saw the other day, at a family event in a muddy field wearing smart coat and boots with a formal designer handbag looked ridiculous. Everyone else was wearing wellies or hill walking boots. It's not what the clothes cost, but how they fit that counts. Many women seem to hide under baggy clothes, or are popping out of clothes that are too tight. And having some idea of how to put colors, or no color together. Wearing judgy pants. Some people you see look as if they have dressed while wearing a blindfold. I don't like matcha-matchy, but some idea about what goes with what does help. Some women can look stunning in a pair of cheap, but well-fitting jeans, a simple top and one piece of simple, but quality, jewelry like a lovely bangle or earrings. Is it Jilly Cooper who said that there is an enduring myth that upper-class women all have lovely thin ankles? And that it's not true, it's just that any upper-class woman who did not have delicate ankles would make a big effort to hide them. So the only thick ankles you would ever see would be on lower-class women. I feel like I remember there being some comparison to a thoroughbred horse. Is it Jilly Cooper who said that there is an enduring myth that upper-class women all have lovely thin ankles? I don't know if she said it was an enduring myth, but she certainly wrote about it. In Writers Tori hated her mother sometimes, for her ankles slender as a gazelle's, and her high flexible insteps, and think Knightsbridge legs taking a bus through Knightsbridge, and guessing who is a tourist, and who is an expensive resident is probably as good a way as any to work out what the markers are. I think a lot is to do with hair, thick, well-conditioned hair. I think there are many factors. I don't think that you have to be either slim or young. It's not just about money either. Women such as Amal Clooney, Victoria Beckham, Toei and the Geordie Shore lot do not look expensive. For despite wearing very expensive clothes, they all look like they are trying too hard to look expensive. One is reminded of Daniela Westbrook and the Burberry fiasco. She single-handedly put me off Burberry for life. I was at Soft Play today, and was thinking about this. I think there are several factors: life, a hard life, financial worries, poor diet, smoking are reflected in your face and skin. Loads of the people there looked hard, they had hard faces. Bling, less is more, money does not buy elegance. Gucci, Chanel etc. can look cheap on the wrong person. Keep it understated. I think people think if I have X and it costs XX, and people know that then they will look expensive. They don't. Understated wealth is the best. E.g. Michael Kors bags to me equals chav. Sportswear at, to and from the gym only. Subtle makeup, groomed hair and nails. My mum has money, but doesn't look elegant, dreadful haircut, smoker, cheap bag, not leather, untailored clothes, e.g. tracksuit bottoms, jumpers and slacks. The things that I think make people look wealthy are impractical, luxurious, show-stopping garments. Not many people could wear a fabulous winter white coat, for example. It would get trashed on public transport, but you'd be okay if you were driven everywhere. Ditto fabulous pale suede boots. Stuart Weitzman do some pale beige suede over-the-knee boots. They are gorgeous, but one trip down to the post office in the rain and they'd be destroyed. Wearing something like that says, I'm too rich to care if they get wrecked, even if they did cost £600. The Stuart Weitzman boots are called Lowland and are £595, if interested. I have a pale, not white, I commute on a train, winter coat from Karen Millen with a deep fur collar and cuffs, which I feel $1 million in, not real fur. Don't tell me off, but it's always in the BL****dy dry cleaners. Some people just don't have style, which counts for looking great. But if you see a not well put together clothes on person, you will be able to tell whether they are expensive or not. There is a lot of quality in expensive things. The producers want their customers to stick with them, and it's also easier to return them when they are damaged. You see the material and detail, and you know that it's quality. Cheap fur and faux fur. Cheap leather and well-made one. Or the material used for a suit. It will boil down to quality, not quantity. You should find a style that works for you too. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Before you go, please like, comment, and subscribe for more daily uploads.